For anybody just coming in, this is going to be a little bit more structured than my last live. Last time I felt like I didn't have anything to say, and maybe people were driving a little bit too much, so they weren't able to ask questions. So kind of stalled out a little bit, but just wanted to answer a few questions. What's up, Georgia Trucker, Trucker Will? I just want to get this out here early in this video because I had a driver that's about to go on home time here in a little bit ask about this last whiskey that I had in my last video, MB Roland. That was a good Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. So that's how good it is right there. That is gone. But I went and bought this stuff here. And I had somebody asking me about buying whiskey or bourbon, whatever. This here is Bardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series. It is bottled in bond, so keep that in mind right there. We'll get back to that. Kentucky straight bourbon, and nice little bottle. You know, you got the little tree thing on the back. The mash bill on this is, my eyes, it's a little dark in here. We are 68% corn, 20% wheat, 17%, or no, 12% malted barley. So the question that somebody had asked was, how do you buy whiskey without breaking the bank? Now, a good way to buy bourbon, which is my drink of choice, would be if you buy something that says bottled in bond. That's the old school. It was kind of almost like an FDA thing back in the day. And basically, when you're buying something that says bottled in bond, you're buying something that's 100 proof. It's been, well, let's just talk about the things that matter. 100 proof, and it is aged at least 4 years. This happens to be a 6-year age bottle. This one, I think, I got it from a big liquor store. This might have been about $49, $50. Generally, you're going to be around $55, $60. And my son said he paid, let me see, just sent me the message because I asked him about it. $58 for this bottle right here. Thought this was a good bottle. Actually, this bottle here was a lot better after it sat out a while. Don't know why. All right, let's see. You know, one of my favorite whiskeys, I showed it in my last video, was called Lip Service. And that is a whiskey out of California. And it's from a guy that used to make a lot of wines and stuff like that. And the bottles are very unique. That's the reason I bought it. I'd never heard of them. But I'm not usually a straight whiskey kind of a person unless it's more of a rye whiskey. But hey, let's get into this and see if I made a good selection on this. What's up, Barry? Barry's from back in my cooking channel days right there, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. All right. So if you're, and somebody was asking about not breaking the bank. I don't know how much breaking the bank is, but probably the best bourbon that you can buy would be Evan Williams bottled in bond. It's a white label. It's probably about, I think it's around $18 or less. It's not really expensive at all. All right, let's see what's up with this. This one's good. Almost has a silky kind of a finish to it. Anyway, enough about that. That is some good stuff. It does have a little bit of heat coming from that 100 proof. Let's see. What is up, Sean from PA checking in? Let's go over what I plan on talking about during this live here. I don't think it's going to be quite as long and drawn out as the last one, but some questions people had asked me. that we'll get to in this video is OTR versus regional. So I'll talk about my feelings as far as that go. Prime's social media policy, the new, well, I don't know if it's a new policy, but kind of what they're doing as far as that and what I think about it. A female truck driver asking me what I thought, if I thought that what the challenges might be as far as being a female truck driver. Any funny stories that are out, any funny stories that happen on the road. I got a couple of those. And somebody had asked about this artwork and then other artwork. This piece right here was a piece of art that was thrown in on a more expensive piece that I bought. I really wasn't looking for art, but I was trying to help this girl out. Well, lady, she's older than me. She's been in one of my lives before. I was at her house. But I bought a piece of her artwork and she threw this in. This is I don't know what it has to do with Spike Lee, but it has that on there. Whatever. The other piece she bought is very kind of climbing up there in price. Then I have about 3 other high price artwork pieces that were given to me by an artist. Every time I did a loan for him, he gave me a piece of art, and his name was Vitol Kaznowski, and he did artwork for the Holocaust Museum in Poland or wherever that is out there. He's an older artist. As a matter of fact, I haven't talked to him in a while. He might have passed away by now. I'm not sure. All right, so let's get to some of these things or some of these comments before we get into this. Jerry Garcia Transport, what's up? We already talked about the whiskey. Somebody asked a question if somebody was somewhere else. Sean from Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania checking in. We already spoke about Barry. The Life of Trucker Rob, what's up? Backwood. My eyes are having a hard time focusing on. I wish I could blow this thing up over here. Misfit Flatbedder, what is up? That weather out there, I don't know where you've been, but we got another storm coming through. I plan on trying to get out of here. I just spoke with the driver. He may run out of hours before he gets to Springfield. We'll touch back in a couple days, but I'm meeting him in Springfield. He's driving my truck right now. His is in the shop. When he gets to Springfield, I'm going to get back in my truck. He's going to get in his, and then I'm going to be out for about 2-3 months, baby. I got to get this ship leveled out right quick. Also, some questions. I'm glad that just came up. Somebody asked about the driver advisory board, what my thoughts were on that, why I didn't do it. The load choice board, I think I spoke about that before, but that question came up again. And do I plan on training? Because I'd mentioned that previous. So we're going to get into all that. So let's see. If I were to come to Prime as a licensed truck driver, how long would I have to sit in your armpit? Chances are you wouldn't be sitting in my armpit because I'm not sure if I'd be training or not, but it just depends on how long ago the experience was. What was the experience? Was it local? Was it OTR? Was it just dry van? It's a number of different things. I had my last trainee was, well, I can't say that because I haven't trained under all these miles lately. My last trainee ended up having to do, I think, 40,000 miles. Or no, he didn't. He actually went through even though he had a CDL, they had him test out through the PSD thing, or at least evaluated. So that saved him some time. So I think he did 30,000 miles and then maybe 3 weeks to get his evaluation. Let's see. Can I start with the Prime policy? You know what? I really don't know the Prime policy. I was just going to give my thoughts on what they were saying. Jerry. X asked if I was taking some time off for winter. The only reason I'm taking time off right now, the only reason is because I had a driver that wanted to get his truck in the shop and he wanted to keep running. So we came up with this idea. Otherwise, I'd have still been out there. Uh, my sister's an artist and a professor at a college. I can't draw a damn stick figure. My daughter can. She actually probably is technically a better artist than the expensive artwork I have right here, but she just doesn't have the provenance and all that stuff that some of these other artists have. But she can she could draw you. She could draw you like to a T. Like not them funny pictures where people got big heads. Oh, I did tell her if she wants to get her grind on, go up to Boulder, get out there on Pearl Street and draw pictures of people, with the big heads and all that shit. She could be killing it. But I think she has been selling some of her shit at like some coffee house or something. So, all right. So Misfit Flatbedder is on I-80 headed to Southern California. Hopefully, good thing it's Southern California because they got a little bit of snow coming through here in Northern California. As far as Prime's policy goes, as far as the social media stuff goes, to me, I think that they think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's something that they live with because the benefits barely outweigh the headaches of having people out there on social media. As far as I don't really mess with the Facebook anymore. I got off of that just because it was just too fucking negative to me. I still am part of a couple groups, but I don't really get into it all that much. Some of the stuff, when they brought it up in the meeting about showing drive footage and having like a GoPro on your head or something like that, that kind of made sense to me a little bit. Barely, but I mean, it did make a little bit of sense to me. And, a reason that I just don't think it's smart to be videotaping yourself anyway is, and I was talking to somebody that's actually in this chat right now that was doing videos and talking about how they were having to make sure they were editing something out, rolling through a stop sign or, whatever. I just think there's too much self-snitching that could go on in posting videos. And I'm not one to be doing a whole bunch of drive footage and then going back and editing a bunch of stuff out. That's a lot of stuff to edit out. And there's times you got to do what you got to do. So you could be, listen, a stop sign means stop. But if you're in snow or ice and there's clearly no cars or trucks or something coming, sometime that might just have to be a yield. You know what I'm saying? But you can't tell anybody in safety that. They'd probably say, well, it's better that you get stuck and towed out than breaking the law. So I just don't want to get caught up in anybody seeing that. And I think it's started to get highlighted now because my YouTube channel is small. My views are small. There's newer YouTube channels that have been that are out there with a huge number of subscribers, and there's some newer channels that are coming out that are getting a ton of views, and that's a lot of exposure. So I think that they're just trying to limit the amount of stupidity that could come through on the social media. Johnny Flipside says, yeah, Donner is messy right now. That's exactly what I've been seeing. And Misfit Flatbedder said she turned down a load that went over 80. I'm telling you, and if we're talking about stories, one of my worst drives ever, and all my stories are going to come from training, was 395 coming into the side of Reno. So, you have 80 coming in from the west. I think 395 or whatever comes in kind of from the northish a little bit. That was my worst drive ever outside of the first drive when I didn't know how to drive. The Million Mile Man, what's up, Willie? I did have to get out there and get this dome cut down just a tad bit because it was getting a little unruly, man. All right, any clue if they slow down hiring from California? My buddy applied. Heather is his recruiter, but hasn't heard from hers and hasn't been able to reach her. Man, sometimes you just got to call and call and call. And that's even me when I call her. Sometimes I think she's just like, damn it, let me just answer this damn phone and get him off my plate. And if Johnny on the flip side is correct, no hires from California, which doesn't really make sense. Now, I don't, there's plenty of company drivers out there that would live in California or plenty of alternatives. California, if it wasn't, they got a dedicated route out there that's okay, but they try to run the shit out of you, and it's almost impossible to do it legally. Well, yeah, leasing, they ain't gonna be doing no leases in California. And as far as, again, that social media stuff, I don't know. I think they're really starting to look a lot more. And like I said, I don't think that they're really looking at me per se that hard because my shit is just me talking. I'm not putting up 45 different cameras and getting out and setting shit up and doing all that and talking when I'm driving and doing all that. But I think it really only became a problem because we got some big ass hitters that are now doing YouTube at Prime right now. Me not being one of them. All right, so let's see. There's a little bit of a break in here, so let's talk. Yep, Johnny, on the flip side, I gotta kind of agree with that. What's up, Christy? Hopefully you're not out there on the West Coast right now. OTR versus regional. That was a question that was brought up to me. I wanted to at least discuss my thoughts on that. I've watched Rakim. Did he switch over to Tanker? I think. Anyway, if he's not the one I'm thinking about, there's another young kid that switched over to Tanker. But yeah, I'm familiar with him, and yeah, he's got some good stuff going on. But OTR versus regional, that all depends on where you live. I mean, this particular person lived I think he lived in Texas, and he was asking about, regional versus OTR. Doesn't have experience yet. That you might have to put in a little bit of work, OTR, before you do that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I lived in Texas, I would be regional. Whether that be leasing at Prime or not or whatever, I would be regional out there. I would not be regional out here in Colorado because regional in Colorado means touching freight and touching mountains. And I'm not having either part of that 100% of the time. Some of the regional California could be okay, but California, these last like 3 years, been getting wild out there in the winter. So I'm not sure I want to mess with that. You got some of the stuff like down in like the Tennessee area, but it really just depends on where you live as to what makes sense to whether you want to go OTR or regional. To me, the best part about OTR, which hasn't really panned out this way the last couple of years, is you weren't living in the fucking bad weather. Lately, you've been living in the bad weather. So normally you pick up a load, it'd be bad weather here. You drive somewhere else, it'd be good weather there or along the way or something like that. This year is just been like you've been driving around getting fucked the entire drive. So I don't know. It may not matter depending on what this weather pattern is going to be. Christie's headed to Salt Lake City from Missouri to fly home for Hometime, spending Super Bowl weekend. in Vegas. All right. Well, have fun out there. Hope you make it. I don't know when you plan on getting to Salt Lake City or how big this storm that's supposed to be starting here in the next day or two is going to be, but that might involve your trip plan. All right. Somebody asked about female truck drivers. We got some female truck drivers in this chat right now. And I think female truck drivers are excellent. The reason I think they're excellent is female truck drivers aren't as much about driving the truck as the end result. A lot of guy truck drivers are out there, trying to do the most. I mean, if you trying to drive as fast as they can, trying to do whatever the best, it's just like a thrill of driving a truck. Whereas I don't think that same thing happens with women. I could be wrong, but I just feel that women are more about the job than the adventure. That's my take on it. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe Christy or Tammy could answer that question while we're in here. Or the Million Mile Man who's trained women for the past 48 years. Man, that groundhog said some shit a couple years ago too, and I was out there fucking around, damn near trying to chain in damn near May in Donner Pass. What I'm trying to do is compare these two. Like I said, my son bought this one. It's a little bit less than this one. And I'm trying to see which one I kind of like. But this bottle here, when I first, as a matter of fact, let me keep this bottle open over here. For some reason, this bottle got a whole lot better longer after it been open. So I don't know. All right. You forgot to send me that picture of that whiskey. Here, I'm going to send that picture right now. As a matter of fact. But one of the things I was talking about earlier, I'm not sure if you were in there, is if somebody wants to buy a bottle of whiskey and they really, or, I like bourbon, but you really don't know much about it. As long as you find something that says bottled in bond, that's at least going to ensure a couple things about that whiskey. One, that it's aged at least 4 years, and one, that's at least 100 proof. All right, let's send that picture. All right, there you go. And some of your best resources, and I almost did it today. As a matter of fact, when I went and bought this bottle over here, was asking people at the liquor store. Now, you can't go to, it's not like you can't find a good whiskey at like your small, like neighborhood liquor store. But if you go to a bigger one, all you have to do is go in there and ask somebody, hey, I'm looking for a bourbon. I'm wanting at least 100 proof. I want aged this many years. They can be like, okay, here. And I want this price range. They'll be able to walk you right to something. And had I known it was going to take me 20 minutes to find this bottle, I'd have probably done that myself today. This one's not quite as... The other one from yesterday was a little bit more kind of sweeter, kind of more of like a cinnamon caramel kind of a flavor than this one. All right. See some of these other topics we were going to be getting into. Somebody asked about funny stories. There's really not a whole lot of funny stories that go on out here. Funny stories. I remember I was up at the Pueblo, Colorado Loves. I think I was delivering at the Taylor Farms up there, something like that. I was in training at the time. And my trainer, it was his time to drive. So I heard, dang, did I miss this phone? I hear him set the brakes, all this stuff. So I know, okay, let me run in and grab something to eat or whatever. So I had on some cargo shorts, and luckily I had on some drawers, but I had on some cargo shorts, and I go in there and get my stuff. Truck stops, it's not like they don't have any carts or anything like that, or any, little things to hold your stuff. And I had like a few things, so I'm holding on to these things, and my pants just fall, my cargo shorts just drop straight to the ground. Now I'm standing here, and if you've been to that Love's gets kind of busy up there. There was like a lot of people in this Love's. I'm standing here with this stuff in my hands and my pants around my ankles, and I don't know if I just should. It was almost like everybody that was looking at me was they knew what I was trying to do. Like, I was like, should I put the stuff down and pull up my pants? Or should I, like, what should I do first and everything? But I couldn't do anything but laugh. And everybody, once I started laughing, everybody started laughing. That was a pretty funny thing that happened. The next thing was, this almost wasn't funny, is I'm coming down one of my favorite highways, I-22, 78, Mississippi to Birmingham. It was going to be my trainer's home time. And he had somebody who's going to be picking him up at an X time. I forget what time it was. And I'm like, you know what? Let's hurry up and, I'm going to hurry up and try to get him there because if I drive my ass off, I'll be able to get there without taking a 30-minute break. I'm going to have like maybe 10 minutes to spare, something like that. And that's a pretty easy highway. Nothing to, shouldn't be a problem doing it. So about a half hour out, maybe about 45 minutes out, I started feeling like I had to really take a shit. But I was like, you know what? Let me hold up a little bit. Get my boy here home for his home time. And I get off at the exit. I'm coming into that Love's, or not, it's not Love's, it's the Flying J. And I come around that corner, and all I was thinking about, I wasn't thinking about my trailer. I wasn't thinking about nothing. I was thinking about taking a shit. And I almost took this guy's hood off coming around that corner, driving around to the back of that lot. And anyway, that was funny after the fact, but not funny while it was going on, because that would have fucked up a lot of shit right there. But that whole weekend was kind of funny. So I'm driving to take my trainer home. So he's going to be at home for like 3 days or 2.5, 3 days. So we stop at this Flying J in Birmingham. And I don't know if it's technically Birmingham or is it Tuscaloosa. It's in that area. It doesn't matter. But I'm sitting out here this whole time. There's this guy that's in the parking lot. Now, we just drove through there maybe about 2 weeks earlier. A guy comes up telling this sob story about he needs some money. His car broke down, and he just needs $50 to get home or something like that. And I was like, man, you haven't made it home yet. It's been like 2 weeks. So I ran into him. You had people out there selling like crab plates on paper plates with foil on top of them. And the kicker was the guy at 9 a.m. in the morning out there helped, or not 9 a.m. I forget what time it was. It was during the day out there with the Steel Reserve beer, so the cheapest beer you could possibly buy, out in the parking lot, helping people back for tips. So that was a very eventful few days out there. And that's where I realized if I'm going to be driving down south, you got to go down there like you're going to a strip club. You got to keep a bunch of ones on you. All right, let's see. Hopefully those tidy whities were clean. I think they were pretty clean. But, the good thing was the shirt was kind of low too. So it wasn't like, I had my shirt tucked into my drawers or anything. Johnny, on the flip side, women drivers are badass. The best thing about being a woman truck driver, and it's part of the reason some women truck drivers make it harder on other women truck drivers than it should be. I won't help female truck drivers typically unless they give me that look like they need some help or something, because it hasn't happened to me, but I've seen people try to help a female truck driver just like they would go help a man, and then have them be like, offended by it or something like that. So I was just like, you know what? I don't even want anybody to think I'm out here trying to help like my intentions aren't anything but to help. So I don't even fuck with it, to be honest with you. Unless somebody's really fucking up and they're next to me, actually, I have done it a couple times. What am I talking about? But they've even asked. So I had the girl in Florida that I actually got into her Mayflower moving truck and backed her into a spot. And then there was a girl that was at CRST. I helped her because she was backing in next to me. That's why. And it looked like she was about to try to go out of her way to do some damage. So, all right, we're getting through this. Driver advisory board. I had a few people ask me about this. As a matter of fact, one of my drivers asked me about this today or yesterday. Today. First of all, just saying I want to be on driver advisory board doesn't mean I'd get on driver advisory board. That's the first thing. Secondly, I'm not sure I'm a driver advisory board kind of person, other than the open bar and free food, because I can see this happening. And I haven't been there. I've talked to people that have been on the driver advisory board, but I could see me getting there and seeing kind of what might be going on, and then me feeling like, why am I even here? So, and I think there have been a few of my predecessors that might have gone onto the advisory board that I would have to look at it like a commitment. Okay. I couldn't just go on the driver advisory board and just be like, well, I changed my mind, or I'm leaving to go to another company or whatever. In my mind, if I'm going to go on the driver advisory board, that's locking me in for that period of time. And that means I'm not thinking about going anywhere else or, doing anything like that. So that's why I wouldn't. Let's put it this way. That's why I haven't done it or applied for it. And I did look through some of the issues that they were tackling, and some of those issues they were tackling, I just didn't think were. How can I explain it without? I think that some of the deeper questions or some of the deeper things that I would want to look into aren't things that are really things that they're willing to tackle. And I'm not saying that they're there just. Man, I can't explain it. Has anybody in this chat been on the driver advisory board? You know, I was just watching a movie that kind of brought out the same emotions that I would have. To make a long story short, this guy goes to help out, these people or whatever. Then he gets there and finds out that he can't help people, not because he couldn't help them doing what he needed to do to help them, but he was being hamstrung by the process to help the people, if that makes sense. So come on, let's get this chat going up a little bit. That'll help me get through this. All right, so that's the driver advisory board. And I think people are asking driver advisory board some dumbass questions that might be taking up a little of their energy to focus on some of the other stuff. Somebody asked about the load choice board. I don't know anything about the load choice board, what it is, right? What's going on right now. I mentioned a long time ago that I could have got on the load choice board. This would have been probably shit. It was before I got my my oldest truck, so this was going back to like June, July, maybe of 2019, something like that. And I just felt like if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. And I'd be hard pressed if you showed, the average person on low choice board and the average person that's not on low choice board, all that shit's going to level out. It would maybe be a little bit more convenient, but if I'm going to go out of my way to, or if I'm going to compare myself to other people, I'm going to at least try to play on a level playing field. I'm not going to be out here talking about how good I am when I got all these fucking advantages along the way. Now, there might be some advantages that I might build in for myself, but that's me. That's not, some of these other advantages that are, other people may or may not have. But like I said, I don't see it as a huge advantage, or I'd be pushing for it myself. And that's just not, I don't want to be one of a few people out here doing something. Like I'm special. All right, so. All right, thanks for a comment, Myth. Has Prime provided any insight or guidance regarding the new independent contractor rules coming into play next month? I haven't heard anything about it. One thing I think is I still got this cough on me, man. I was probably sick for 5 days before I came home. Then I technically got better, but then this cough is just not going away. I haven't heard anything about the rules. I think the Prime is big enough to where they should be able to sidestep any of those problems. Tim Travels did a video regarding that a while back where he feels that there are some companies that may actually need to worry about this. Now, I haven't been too on top of some of these things, but maybe some of those rules might actually help. I don't know. Don't know. Okay, the last thing that I was going to talk about on here, unless there was any other things that came up, was this whole training thing. Somebody was thinking about coming to Prime, asked me about training, and I still am up in the air on that training thing. I look at it two different ways. One of the reasons that I wasn't training was that'll wear you out. Whenever I think about training, I just think about being tired. That's all I think about. So I was like, well, maybe I do a PSD and do it like that. That would probably be the way that I might lean. After I talked to a few people, I did go out to eat with Twisted D last time I was up in Springfield. We spoke about a little bit. But then again, that 21 Peterbilt, if I trained in that truck and just if I just wore it out, just got another 300, 400,000 miles on that thing without any super major issues, at that point, I could just throw the truck away. It would already have done its job. So I maybe was kind of leaning towards that. But, this time, when I keep it real, if I was going to train this time, it would be about the money this time. You know what I'm saying? Whereas other times it was paying it back and all that kind of stuff. And I stood by that. If I did it this time, it'd be about the money. But I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm trying to think what I think about this. This is a good, if you were to buy this bourbon, this is something that I think a lot of people would like. I think this is like a middle of the road bourbon where you're not going to offend anybody. It's not going to be anybody's favorite, but it's not going to be anybody's worst. This one, I think a little bit, you might have a little bit more of a swing on what people think. This one here, I think, had a little bit more sweetness, caramel, cinnamon, a little, which is funny. This one has a higher proof, but this one almost felt like it had more of a burn. Maybe how much rye is in this? Maybe that was it. Maybe it's the rye. I don't know. %17 rye. That's not that much less. Oh, that's right. This one didn't have any rye. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's that. Just wanted to pop in here real quick. Any more questions or comments before I get off of here? But Myth, you know what? That is a good question. If I make it to the Friday morning meeting, which I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not, that would be a question that I might ask, actually. Let's put it this way. If I go to the meeting on Friday, I will ask that question. Unless I feel like they're on a run. Sometimes them guys up there, I don't know if anybody at Prime watched that last meeting, they will shut your ass down if you ask the wrong question. I forgot what somebody asked up there in this last meeting, but I do remember them shutting somebody down. Oh, okay, that's enough about that. We can talk about that later. They're right over here. They shut it down. Let's see. Slowpoke, no, I don't do no cigars. I'm just more of, I don't do that. Yeah, read the 6 rules. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out. You know what? One thing I do, though, I will not worry about anything until there's something to worry about. So, I mean, I could sit here and be like pondering this shit and worrying about it for the next, however many months and, all that kind of stuff. And it's just something that I can't do. I'm going to have this shit tomorrow. For some reason, it seemed like that bottle got a lot better. It is good, though. All right, so did anybody in this chat watch the last meeting and see what I'm talking about? Lenny, were you at the last meeting when they were rushing people out of that? Somebody was asking a question and they were like rushing them out of that meeting, or they were cutting that question out. They were just like, okay, we're wrapping it up now. You can go talk to them afterwards. I was like, they were not wanting that question brought up. I forgot what it was, but I don't want to get that. I do not want to get the getting rushed off my question when I'm there. Okay. What question would I ask? Okay, I would have asked the question that Myth Leather Company asked about 7 comments up that said, has Prime provided any insight or guidance regarding the new independent contractor rules coming into play next month? That's a question that I would ask because I haven't really heard it addressed at all from Prime. Yeah, whoever that was, and it wasn't even that tough of a question, but whatever that question was, I don't remember. They did not want any part of that question. Oh, then there was like some older lady. I forgot what question she asked. If I think about it, man, it was a lady that asked the question. State to State LLC says, you ain't even drinking. When was my last live? Let's go back and look at that. My last live was Andrew. Do you remember what day my last live was? Today's what, Tuesday? No. It was. We went to Boulder. It's the last Wednesday. Yeah, so I mean that's a fair amount in like 6 days. I don't know. Let's see. Hey, and this ain't no 80 proof like bottom shelf shit right here. I mean, it's not killer. This is 100. That's 109. All right, this would be like a double shot. Okay, we're gonna. Well. All right, let's see. That is not the last live, Lenny. I was just up here this home time. Yeah, the driving on camera, I actually don't think that is smart anyway, because I could just see me self snitching, to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and I may not have the foresight to edit that shit out. Yeah, I did live here. Let's go take a look. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone. Your videos. Here it is right here, 5 days ago. This one, it's 5 days ago. 3 hours, 36 minutes, 35 seconds. It says 5 days ago. Yeah, but Andrea.
Yes, sweetheart.
Who's that?
I don't know. Chief, get back. Get back. Get back.
This better not be no salespeople because my wife does not play that shit. I at least try to, Hey, Uber Eats, man, I'm telling you. Here's the funny thing, Lenny, is man, ever since I've been home, I haven't been craving no like real food. I've been craving like grapes and hold on. Love. I ain't got no. You ain't buying no cookies.
Exactly.
Oh, what about that? Dude. Yeah, just put the, stamp it. If we get it, we get it. And you'll get it. But weren't we supposed to be done talking about trucking and shit? Weren't you taking some time off? Well, I'll be looking out for it. All right. Well, just that, and that's great. But I'd rather you come back without any fucking trucking on your mind. I'm sure you will. Hey, have fun. All right, man. Later. All right. No, somebody's selling some cookies or something. So you want to come in here?
No, I don't. Look at me.
Why not? Hey, does anybody want my wife to come in here?
No.
Andrea, won't you? People have a lot of questions.
Wait until I look like the most shit ever, and then like, oh, come here.
Who cares?
Whatever. I'm making soup for my mother.
Well, is she all right?
No, she doesn't feel good, so I'm getting her some Dayquil and Nyquil.
Hey, what do we got in there to eat? Let's see.
She wanted soup, so I'm making her soup. I'm taking Taylor to the grocery store. She's making a grocery list for the
Oh, get some grapes, and if you
green grapes.
can get some shit like that you made the other day, except you could just chop it all up. It doesn't need to go in like long strips or anything. Just the green or the red onions, all that shit. I don't even need the cheese. All right, so let's see. Yeah, no, she's not trying to have it. But yeah, this is like some. See, these Girl Scouts now got the little barcode and shit.
I asked for that.
Well, I mean, they still have it. Anyway, Alex said they also said last week was one of the best weeks in a while. It was one of my best weeks too. I really don't know. Like I said, I wasn't out there. I had one driver out that did a partial week, and then two drivers actually that did. That was one of my newest driver just called me, so that's who I was just on the phone with, and my other driver. She looked like I haven't added it all up last week or this week, but she looks like she's done well this week as well. So, Andrew does not drink unless it's like some seriously like margarita type stuff or something like that.
Yeah, wild woman.
Yeah, she fucked up her hair to come in here.
I got it off my face because it's like that.
Okay, if you need me to get in there with that flat iron, I can get out there.
I'm gonna play baby shot.
No, I was just joking. No.
Okay. So yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of been, one of the differences about, one of the differences because, usually it's just me and my wife and then my son who's doing his electrician shit. But now we have my daughter and her round-headed baby up here. And then her man. And then my wife's mom is up here too. So it's kind of a full house. Huh? You want to get in here? You want to get in here? Let's go ahead and show him. Let's come on, so everybody will steal him. There you go.
That's not nice.
As long as you don't say that, nobody's gonna know anything. You're gonna be out there running your fucking mouth like somebody cares about this.
Not nice.
Just what you need to do is be quiet. The way I respect them. What I do to respect them is have them not in here paying no shit. Hey.
That's enough.
All right, you go ahead. All right, let's see. Margaritas. Okay, I will tell you that it's starting to mess my eyes a little bit. Margaritas remind me of the song about the margarita, two margarita. Yep. Slime Pack, what's up? You know what? She is an inspiration for female truck drivers out there as well. Just some of the newer ones out there. You know, she is definitely about her business. And as far as female truck drivers, I got to give it up to, you know, my new female truck driver. She's out there. I mean, she, you know, she's done a few. She's put in some work this last week. All right, so let's see. How does she deal with you being gone for weeks on end? It's not optimum.
Not very well.
Get me upset about some shit. Slime Pack is killing it. There's a ton of new YouTube people that are out there killing it. There's my boy, forget the name of his channel. Some people I just know him just because I know him. But the new guy, he's killing it. I'm never gonna be a good trucking YouTube channel. At least, first of all, I don't put in the effort. Second of all, I fall between the cracks of a lot of people because I'm old. And then some people, you know, some people, you know, old black, and then, you know, really not putting the effort in. But those people that are putting the effort in, you got Slime Pack, you got my other boy, I forget his name, you got Misfit Flatbedder, and I was telling her from the very beginning that she was going to blow up because she was putting effort into it. I try to look at myself as the older statesman of the group. So I'm not going to be flashy. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be doing no numbers. Like you're not going to be coming to me for entertainment or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit deeper than that sometimes. And that really does reduce your audience a bit. But Slime Pack, you know, I like what she does because certain little things she does, you're able to see how good she was trained. And then not only how good she was trained, but how good she applied some of that. I forgot what video that she did, but she was talking about something. And it was about how she was going to run her clock. Well, I plan on doing this and I plan on doing that. And I was like, that girl knows how to run her clock. And the clock is the money. So a lot of people think you know, being a good driver, that's your money. I'd rather, well, if you're not tearing up shit, but somebody that's an average driver that knows how to run the clock is always going to be better than the better driver. As long as you're not tearing up a bunch of shit. You know, I think, yeah, Roadrunner Nia too. Sometimes those channels, Slime Pack, I think I will go out of my way to watch some of her stuff. But when I'm consuming my YouTube, generally it's through my earpiece when I'm driving, so I can't see a lot of this camera shit that's going on. So a lot of that gets lost on me. But that's not, what most people, I guess that's not how most people do it. So trying to think some other new people. Dang, I forgot my boy. I just talked to him at the terminal, and he has a channel, and I'd never remembered his channel, but he's like, a newer guy. He's way newer than me, and he's throwing up videos, and he's like killing them right off the bat. I'm never going to be that guy in this. Now, we need to do a Taylor. Some truck drivers are asking about what type of footwear they need to be rocking when they're driving to be comfortable. And as ugly as those shoes are, they've got to be comfortable.
Birkenstocks.
Oh my! Is that what they are?
Birkenstocks.
Shit, she's the only black person in the world wearing some Birkenstocks right now.
It is 2023.
All right.
It is 2024. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
It's okay, baby. You were talking about being old. Okay.
Shit, I didn't know she was coming over here to talk or, give a sermon with them shoes on.
Yeah. So Mama has her soup.
If you're going shopping, like I said, that food right there, the cucumbers and the onions and all that,
And
that would be excellent.
garbanzos
And then
tomatoes.
them, like if they could had some good strawberries or them big ass grapes.
The green grapes. Obviously, he doesn't like. He said
Nobody likes the fucking red grapes
Nobody likes them.
because nobody's eating them.
I didn't even try them. I usually
No.
wasn't gonna eat the grapes, but you guys were raving about the green one, so I had one.
Those were gone 2 days ago, so you would have had a choice between
those
them.
were Costco grapes, weren't they?
Let's see, Lyle, those Birkenstocks are some pretty. They are pretty hippie.
We
Yeah,
have Birkenstock boots. We have Birkenstock slides. We have Birkenstock flip flops. We have Birkenstock
So anybody that says that,
mules.
hey,
All right. Well, if you're against the brand name, just get footbed shoes.
Wait.
Lord have
And
mercy,
then there's
whose are those?
Those are mine.
Jesus Christ, we can't go out. I mean, I'd look like shit.
nobody can be this
But
cool
Jesus
because
Christ.
she can wear them and she can pull it off and she's cool as shit. I wear them with my crochet socks. Crocs.
Get those away. I don't even want anybody seeing.
Fingerprint Crocs. Look. Fingerprint
Would you
Crocs.
get this shit out of here? Jesus Christ, are people gonna be asking me what kind of a fucking parrot I am?
Okay. You ready? Yeah. You ready?
God dang, these guys out here don't know how to dress. All right, enjoy your home time. Gotta go. Or
Really?
all right, Lenny. Always good talking to you, man. I know Lenny's not afraid of a terminal. I'm gonna be back up there in like Friday, Saturday.
Because I don't want my coat.
I don't know what those things are. They're just some shit that
They're Crocs.
some other bullshit they shouldn't spend no money
They're
on.
Crocs. What's his name? Celine, the designer. He won an award.
Jesus Christ.
Just saying. Just saying.
Kanye West won some
Celine
awards doing some shit, and he's about the
Crocs.
dumbest motherfucker. Congrats, Taylor Swift made it to the Super Bowl in her rookie year. Hey, I ain't got no problem with no Taylor Swift now.
Or the Chiefs.
I got a problem with the Chiefs.
We are from Kansas City.
The only problem with Kansas City is the Chiefs, whack ass barbecue, and what other shit can we think about?
Your wife.
Oh, my wife. No, I said those are I was talking about whack shit from Kansas City.
Oh, okay. Your wife. Well,
Adios.
I mean, the way everybody in this household talks about me, then
Come
yeah,
here.
No. Look at him. He's watching Pops. He's like, hey, Pops. Hi, Pops. Hi, Papa.
We need to start a YouTube channel. Granddad and the Rugrat. We could be rich.
You just gotta blob out his face.
I ain't blobbing out shit. All right. Peg leg. How do you? All right. Let's see. How do you? My eyes are.
He said
How do you think? Something about the
Yeah,
Broncos.
you have to pay him for that. Though.
How do you?
That's right. That's his college fund.
Something about the Broncos. I hate the Broncos. I've been living in Denver since 1968.
You're old.
And I hate the Broncos. As a matter of fact, that's another funny story. It was like 1976. My dad hated the fact that I was a Raider fan. He went out and bought these like Broncos shoes and wanted me to get them raggedy. Them things are ugly.
They're not ugly.
They are ugly. Get them out of here. Anyway, he bought these like Bronco cleats for me to play football in. And I forgot what I did to get out of it, but it probably, I don't know. Anyway, I hate the Broncos. All right. Hey, Lyle, we need some complete sentences up in here, please. Hey, Lyle, if Prime is going to address the new labor law taking effect March 11th? Okay, we kind of spoke about this earlier. I don't think it's going to be an issue. But if it is going to be an issue, I don't really worry about issues until there's a reason to worry about them. I think there's several different ways to kind of distinguish Prime from some of the other people that might get caught up in that. And in the end, it may actually be better for some of us. I'm not sure, but I haven't thought about it, haven't worried about it. Yeah, I need to start one of them little family channels where I go out there and clickbait the shit out of everybody and put up good, like, thumbnails and all that shit. But that's the last thing I need to be doing is some more shots. I mean, I'll sip on this a little bit, but I didn't see Slime Pack's last video. I saw that clickbait and I was like, man, I'm not even sure if I want to reward this clickbait. My year is over. And then should I go drive for? And then there's like all these different companies. I was like, all right, you know what? Let me wait for that one for me to go to sleep and listen to that one. Because she almost got me on it. It was like, oh shit, let me hurry up and watch this. Let me see where she's going. And I was like, man, she's out. She's clickbaiting me. All right. What was my MOS? I was a 3381. That meant that I was a cook in the Marines. And one thing that people don't realize about the cooks, if Smug Monkey is in here, we were pretty much the ass kickers back in those days. They've reduced that role a little bit. I went in because I just wanted to have a career that you could do outside of the military. So that's kind of the way I went. But a lot of the cooks were people that didn't have any other option but to be that. So all the people that were the gang members in South Central and, it was just, you had a very rugged group of people that ended up being in that MOS, and we fought a lot, and we got a lot of respect, especially where I was at, the group I was at, because I thought I was sidestepping the whole combat situation and doing all that, but I ended up going to an infantry battalion and pretty much spent my entire 4 years in the field. Let's see. I was actually in the field with some Army cooks in Fort Irwin, either Fort Irwin or Fort Ord or something like that. Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin, boy, one of the other people from my old cooking channel days. I miss the cooking channels. I miss you guys over there. I still talk to some of you guys. Thyron, TNT Barbecue, talk to him quite a bit, but I do miss that whole. That has been the hardest part about getting into trucking is not being able to have relationships with those cooking channels and people that are in that genre. So yeah, I do miss that. Hey, before you leave, what city do you live in,
What city do I live in?
Mr. Mega Fred Zeppelin? Because I get up to that area every now and then.
Here?
I'm not
What?
talking to you.
Oh. You said before you leave. Where are we?
No, I was talking about the person in here. What I will tell you though is that some of being in the food service and all that stuff, especially, man, I could tell you a bunch of crazy shit just by the way they move troops in the Marines. A lot of times you don't know what's happening until it's over with, but the way they move troops in the Marines is you have like your headquarters and support battalions and stuff like that. So that would be cooks, snipers, administration, motor transport, things like that. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll move them forward and then the other group will be behind. So infantry, all that. And then they'll hopscotch over. And one of those days before the infantry moved in front of us, there was like some people that were coming in on us back in the day. I never knew what a Navy SEAL was. This is back before that became popular, or Delta, all that kind of stuff. I don't know which one it was, but somebody started coming in on us, and all of a sudden you see all these people coming in dune buggies and all this shit, and all these helicopters and shit. And apparently, whatever was happening about 3/4 of a mile ahead of us. And we didn't know who this was that came in until afterwards, but they came in and they said special operations. I didn't, I didn't know who it was, and I didn't know the danger we were in. But that was back in the first Gulf War. But if you look back at that first Gulf War, the people that got captured and all that kind of stuff, those weren't like regular infantry people. Those were support people. All right, let's see. Yeah, Dory Miller. Also one of the, also another military cook is that big ass fucking White House chef that's like probably, he looks like a bodybuilder. He's like 305 pounds, like all muscle and shit. As a matter of fact, some other cooks, I don't know if you've watched the Netflix channel about that Marine lady that killed her boyfriend that was I don't know if both of them were cooks. I know she was a cook, but they were both bodybuilders, and she ended up killing him. There's a Netflix movie about that right now, and that was around the time that I was in. I didn't know either of them. Actually, the Marines actually do some really fucking good cooking, more than I would have thought. All right. And probably the people that put in the actual most work out there because everybody had to eat every day. So that was always, Roseville, California. Let me see where that's at. In case I get out that direction, I could at least holler at you. Shit, you guys are. You're right. I try not to get out there by you, Mister Mega Fred Zeppelin, because every time I go over to Roseville, or I don't ever go directly there, but that means I got to take 80 over Donner Pass and all that. Yeah, no, not till summertime, baby. What you think about us doing right now? I don't know. Could you elaborate on that more, Magdorf Extreme? What you think about us doing right now? How's trucking out of Colorado? Trucking out of Colorado is great if you're a reefer. I think it's shitty if you're dry van or, from what I've heard, flatbed. But there's all kinds of loads coming out of Colorado. You got multiple meat plants. If you don't pick up anything right out of Colorado, you always got Nebraska, Kansas to go deadhead to. And there's always now one thing I'm not sure if Prime doesn't have this contract anymore, but there ain't none of that bullshit beer. I haven't seen that in a long time. So you got those loads, and then we have another load that's consistent coming out of here, which I don't like in the wintertime. That is a Sam's Club load leaving out of here going up to South Dakota or something like that. I don't really go to this. I've never really gone to the Springs or I've never really gone to the Springs. I had the one load that when I was in training like 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, that dropped in Pueblo, Colorado. But everything to me has been Denver, actually just the Denver area for the most part. Yeah, there's a lot of snow up there. I'm not sure I want to be messing around with that. Donner Pass sucks this time of year. I don't blame you for sure. Every time I look at the snow reports on that, it says chains required. I'm like, yeah, baby, not me. I would never drive locally in Colorado because local in Colorado means that you're going to be dealing with mountains and chaining. And I'm not trying to chain up every fucking day. You're either going to be getting loads going down to Colorado or down south where you're having to hit that Monument Pass. You're either going to be going west where you're going to have to hit Vail Pass, where you're going up north and going across 80 to where you got to hit all that shit. There's really no true local Colorado unless you want to lift a bunch of shit. All right, so what do you think? What you think are let me see if I can get my eyes focused a little bit better. Peg Leg says he didn't like going to the Bud Light place. Any beer place is generally just gonna suck. What do I think are the government doing to us right now? Overseas right now. If somebody's asking about what I think about what is going on with the government and going on overseas right now, my thoughts are this: is that in any rational time of government, it had always been that we would have been fighting this war in Ukraine first for a number of different reasons. But now everything's kind of divided into, you support this, you're this, or you support that, you're that. First of all, everybody's thinking we're wasting all this money. Why are we spending all this money in Ukraine? Do you realize that Britain just got done paying off their debts from us helping them in the World War II? So it's not like that money's free money. So that's one. Secondly, it allows us to get rid of a whole bunch of old ass fucking munitions that we could have gone through anyway. So how not defeating Russia or, never was top priority is beyond me. I thought that would have been about as Republican as you could get. Me, on the other hand, I was always the one saying, keep our ass out of everything. We don't have to be in every war. And somehow this shit flipped all of a sudden. I don't know. That's my thought on that. Married to the Miles, what's up, y'all? Shoot, it's been a while. I saw them on the road way back in the days. Well, continued safety and success to you guys as well. It has been a rough winter, let me tell you. I think Warner got that beer account last time I did a beer load. There was a shit ton of Warner trailers. Them beer loads, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Them beer loads were shitty. As a matter of fact, I mean, one of my drivers isn't on that particular load right now, obviously, but I have a driver picking up a load at a place that I'm not going to really speak about. I could just name the city. It's New Berlin, New York. It's going out to the Chicago area. That load right there is a shitty load that probably will end up costing me money. Every single beer load would cost me money to do that load. Those loads were those were bad loads. They were bad in every way. They were bad because they didn't pay good. They were bad because they didn't respect the drivers. They were bad like because they were heavy. They were why anybody was running those loads to begin with, I have no clue. Oh, I cannot stand a beer load. Sierra Nevada is a good beer load. I will give them that. That is the one. Don't want to lump them in with everybody else. All right, let's see. What do I think? Okay, we got that. What about taxes? I'm not sure about taxes. Depends. Taxes are. I'm not. What do I think about taxes? I mean, that's pretty vague. I would say that most truck drivers, not to get political, most truck drivers got fucked with the last round of taxes that happened. When was that? Like whenever the tax code changed a while back, truckers got fucked on that, but they didn't want to notice that because they were too far up this guy's asshole to actually say what that was. But I don't have a problem paying my fair share of taxes if that's what it comes down to. But yeah, that last tax code changed. In case you didn't know, you got kind of fucked on that one if you're a truck driver, especially if you're a company truck driver. One bad part about beer loads is they don't pay exactly, and they still can't sell that. And the beer is, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't fuck around with taxes in terms of trying to. As a matter of fact, I tell the people that are doing my taxes, here's what I got to give you. Anything that might set up a red flag, anything like that, get rid of that shit. I do not need to be in here getting audited with a dumbass look on my face. Well, Jack Daniels and yeah, I mean, liquor. I think would pay good. As a matter of fact, I think other beer places pay good. I don't know where we get these loads from. If they come off the spot market or something other than a normal contract freight thing. But there's another beer company that I've pulled for that wasn't. It wasn't our normal shit. That was actually a good load. It wasn't Budweiser or whatever the normal shit is that we take that actually paid well. So I just think it was that particular account. If we lost that, I have no issue. I have no problem with that. Am I preppy? Is that what that said? My eyes are a little fucked up. I could be a little preppy, not so much anymore. I mean, when I did used to kind of have to rock the suit and all that kind of stuff, and then I wasn't afraid to be wearing no La Costa pants and shit like that. But no shit. I don't think my wife has seen me wearing anything outside of whether it be Cat or Carhartt or any type of sweat, shirt and some like I'm about as rugged as they come. And the worst part about it, here's the worst part about it, is she not only just sees me in that, but here's what'll happen: is I got all these clothes, right? And the driver that's driving my truck right now can attest to this. I have 4 duffel bags worth of clothes that are up there. Now, what I will do is I will go out for 3 or 4 months. We'll never need to change, wash clothes or anything like that. I'll wear them. I'll put them in plastic bags and put them in an empty duffel bag. When I came back home, all I brought back was that empty duffel bag. So I'm just washing the shit that I had before. So she's watching me. She's seen me wearing the same shit I was wearing before, just clean. I never got to some of these other. I need to start rotating. Is really what I need to do. Kate just pooped her pants. Let me tell you, that just about happened to your boy at the Springfield terminal. I was getting sick like 10 days ago. I mean, I was like throwing up, shitting, and I didn't feel better until the day before I drove back home in a rental car. You definitely don't picture me as somebody that would go to Casa Bonita, because I would never go to Casa Bonita. That is one of the worst places you could possibly go in Colorado for Mexican food. I do remember going there as a kid, though. It was very entertaining. Casa Bonita has been around so long. I went there when I was probably 5 or 6. All right, Justin, let's see what's up. I had that same shit. Ate a bad sandwich from the Petro in New Jersey. I don't think mine was the food that I ate. I think mine, I started feeling like I was starting to get sick. I went out to eat with Twisted D. If anybody knows his YouTube channel, I went out to go eat with him at a Mexican restaurant. That had to have been on I don't remember. It doesn't matter what the days are. I started feeling like I might be getting sick around then. We went out to eat, and I got home, or I got back to the terminal that night. Like within 5 hours, I was throwing up and crapping all over the place. I had to go park down by the training pad because I was having to get up pretty frequently that night and go crap all over the place. I think I'm gonna have to give a go on this right here, especially for people that aren't really into like super strong, like obviously it's strong, but like that don't like the sweeter type of. I personally could go with a little bit more of a cinnamon taste to it, but it's a good little choice right there. I have had Johnny Walker Blue, and I don't like. Here's why I like Johnny Walker, okay? Or here's why it has a soft spot in my heart. Was my stepdad, who basically raised me. When I was little, he used to have me make him these Johnny Walker, I used to make his little Johnny Walker drinks. This is before he became a pastor, okay? So I used to make him this little Johnny Walker drink, just basically ice and water. I felt like I was doing some shit, So, when he passed away, he's around all these people, and I'm not. Trust me, I'm not any part of being religious, and they were all trying to act like. Anyway, that's a long story. So anyway, he's about to pass away. I go up to the hospital, and I'm sitting there with my stepbrother, and I'm like breaking out this bottle of Johnny Walker Red because that's what he liked. And now I got all these pastors and shit trying to look down on me like I was trying to give a fuck about what they were thinking. So, so anyway, I got that because that reminded me of him. And previous to that, I bought a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, and I didn't dislike it because of what it tasted like. I disliked it because of what it was. It This was before I knew a little bit too much about these different alcohols and stuff like that. And Johnny Walker Blue is pretty much kind of a scotch. I mean, it's a whiskey, but it's more, it's a scotch type of a deal. So it gave me that scotch like flavor that I didn't really like. Now, I don't think it was a bad bottle, but I think at the time, this had to have been 2003 when I bought that bottle. That bottle was $180 back then. I don't know how much they are now. But I was disappointed. I mean, it wasn't a bad bottle, but it wasn't what I thought it would have been. And anyway, for me to get into that other story, we'd have had to go into something way deeper, which is part of the reasons I'm not trying to get all religious now in my life. Twisted took me out for a good Mexican joint. That's probably where we went. It was called Jose something. Jose Loco. Good Mexican place. I mean, I probably got the previous 2 times I went there, I probably ordered the right thing. This last time just wasn't the right option. I got some tacos, and they probably aren't the best taco place in the world. Okay, so he bought Johnny Walker Blue a year ago. It was $240. Thought it would have been smoother and more of a whiskey than a scotch. It is very scotchy. It's kind of got that nutty kind of a scotch. And that's the thing. If I was going for a scotch, I could have probably got that same flavor for at least half the money. So in really any of that Johnny Walker line, I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Daniels. Well, okay, not a fan of their normal number 7 Jack Daniels. Once you get into their specialty line, those are good. Those are good bottles. Once you get above the normal. I don't know what made me buy that. As a matter of fact, I do remember why I bought that Johnny Walker Blue. It wasn't for me. I did a loan for an airline pilot, and I was just talking to him with one of my girls that I was in the business with a while back. He did a loan for 2 houses up in Breckenridge, and that was my gift to him, was some Johnny Walker Blue. So ended up buying that Johnny Walker Blue. He lived, if you know Denver well, he lived in the Washington Park area at the time. It's where all the money is, people that like to live in old ass houses and spend a bunch of money for them. That's where he lives. So I bought him that Johnny Walker Blue. He's like, well, let's go ahead and open it now. So me and him killed that bottle of Johnny Walker Blue that night. I ended up spending the night at his house. And the only way I rationalized it was, okay, well, I spent $180 for it, and I got $90 worth of value out of it. So I didn't overspend on it, but that was why I bought that Johnny Walker Blue, just because it was that. He was a whiskey guy, and I just thought that, the presentation of that bottle and the little casket looking thing they got was a good buy. And he liked it, so All right, man, I got some good stories being back in those mortgage days. Johnny Walker Blue now costs between 200 and yep. See, I'm not a huge Scotch fan. I do. I mean, I have bought some, and there was once a time when I was in my reckless spending days when I had a wine racket. This was in my single days. I had a wine rack, probably about a probably a 15, 16 bottle wine rack, and everything in that wine rack was like upper level vodka, scotch, whiskey, bourbon in that wine rack. Um, so I used to be into scotch a little bit more. Like right now, you can't get me to buy a scotch. I think back then, so we're going back to the late 90s and all that kind of stuff. I think I was more of a scotch person than I was a American whiskey or bourbon type of a drinker. I don't know when that switch came. Maybe just get tired of it after a while. Maker's Mark is good once you get past that regular bottle. Like that regular bottle that you normally would buy. That's serviceable, but you're not gonna like once you get above that, then you're starting to get into where you have like it's a little bit deeper, you know, like I don't think that a maker's mark is going to give you like, but it's going to be less than this too. I don't think that you're going to get the subtle kind of. You're not going to get as much subtlety out of a maker's mark than this. But maker's mark, I've bought a bottle of I've had a bottle of maker's mark recently, so. But I mean, to be honest with you, any bottle is fine. Here's the thing. I'm coming off the road. So when I'm coming off the road, I'm trying to find something special. Now, this could or couldn't be that particular bottle, or this one could or couldn't be that particular bottle. But what I'm trying to do is make something special because I haven't drank. So when I was at home by myself, or not at home, before trucking, you could buy anything, because like drinking wasn't special. It was just like a daily event. You know what I mean? It was just like what you did. Now when I'm gone, 5 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, 5 months last year, when you get home, you want something that's gonna be different, something that's like not your average shit. That's how me and my son got on this thing to where when I come home, he buys me a special bottle. It gives me something to talk about. It gives him a reason for being, and you know, when he's going out buying stuff, it can't be that. It can't be I mean, it could be a Maker's Mark, but it can't be the regular one. It can't be. It can be Jack Daniels, but it can't be the number 7 Jack Daniels. It has to be something with the story or something like that, or just better flavor altogether. He came up with a bottle that was probably one of the best bottles I've ever had. It was It's called like 1792. That was like one of the best bottles that I've had, and that was like cheap too. Well, I could definitely tell that I am getting people bored up in here because it is 13, 13 people. Come on, let's get some more questions up in here, some more comments. We can keep rolling, at least until my wife gets home. All right, let's see. right. Well, dang. Is it time for a brother to wrap this up right quick? I'm not sure. I'm trying to get everything knocked out. I've been so lazy since I've been home. Haven't had a chance to, really haven't felt like doing anything. I did update my TWIC card online. So I did do that. I got to get my expense reports done. That's what I need to do tomorrow. But I have got home and just haven't wanted to do shit but sleep. Terry did do a good. That's why I was saying people need to go look at him. Terry is definitely full of information, but he is, boy, you want to talk about somebody that's like got called into prime. Terry's had to. Terry's a little more controversial than I want to be with anything that I say. I try to say the way I feel, but you got to know when to cut that shit off every now and then. So I guess tomorrow I'm going to reserve. Well, I'd like to reserve my rental car to go back to Springfield tomorrow, but I can't do that until I know what my driver is doing and if he's going to need to get a break before he gets back to the terminal. Because the last thing I want to do is get back to the terminal and need to spend money on a hotel room. All right, Peg Leg, what's up? Just out of curiosity, what? Peg Leg, you gonna finish that like run-on sentence right there, or is that just it? Lyle, just out of curiosity, what's? Sorry, what's in your CU? What do you? What am I drinking? Okay. We are drinking Boardstown Bourbon Company Origin Series, bottled in bond, Kentucky straight bourbon. And then for those of you guys just came in, bottled in bond means that you are dealing with something that's aged a minimum of 4 years and 100 proof. So that's that. The bill on it is corn, which all bourbon's gonna have. 60, I could be off because my eyes are low. 68% wheat, 20%, and then malted barley, 12%. Like I said, I could be off on those, but But I was comparing that to a bottle that my son had bought. MB Roland Kentucky Straight Bourbon. This one was 109 proofer. And the bill on this one is 78% white corn, 17% rye. So this one almost had more of a like that burning feeling. Well, actually, yeah, this one had more of a, but it is 109 proof than this one. But this, I think this one, I'll have to try this new one in the morning to kind of see. But I think what I liked about this one was you had more of like the caramel, like cinnamon, sweeter kind of notes to it without being one of them whack ass whiskeys that has like artificial shit added to it. I think this had that. This is more balanced. I think that if somebody didn't know if they like bourbon or not and wasn't sure, what this would probably be this would be a safer pick right here. So that's kind of that. And my eyes are good. It's just this light coming off of this thing because shit, I think last time I went and got my eyes checked, I think I was like, instead of being 20/20, one was like 13/20 and one was like 15/20. So that's like way better than like that's better than 20/20 vision. I think the last time I did a physical, I think I just ended up just getting like, so it was like I was just trying to get through it. So I was just like, can you read the next level down? I was like, yeah, but let's just wrap it up here. So I mean, I think even then they were both like 15/20 or something like that. Plus, I have been drinking a little bit. That does add a little blur to the, vision. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got some eagle eye vision now. That is one thing I do got. Always have had that. That is I think this is one of those that might need to just sit out a while. Like some of these bourbons, particularly, do better if they've been open and they sat like a while. This might be one of those. This is a little bit more than I was planning on drinking, but somebody was up here talking about I wasn't drinking enough, so I took a big shot. Greenwich, I just saw your truck up at the terminal the other day. And you ain't lying. Shit, 55 years old. I mean, I'm getting a little up there. But I will be, I don't miss going out on the road at all, but I am prepared to go out and spend some time out on the road. This is going to be like 100% fucking business for the next at least 8 weeks, period. Because this home time was unexpected. This wasn't supposed to happen when it happened. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me see if I can find some. Oh yeah, she's trying to hide She's trying to hide kids from us. Boom. I don't know if that's coming through or not. Yeah, too much glare, but yeah, have a good home time, Justin. These 8 weeks in winter are not like 8 weeks in summer. You could do 8 weeks in summer and not even think about it. These last 8 weeks have been, this entire winter has been a shitty fucking winter. Does the APU keep you warm in the winter and cold? Yes. Now, I did have to speak to one of my drivers. She was thinking that the APU is supposed to keep the entire truck warm. And I'm like, no, it's a bunk heater. It's not a fucking like entire truck heater. Shut them fucking curtains. So yeah, it will keep you warm. Let me see if I can find something else. My wife's always trying to hide shit. I think this was my last Christmas party when I was in the mortgage business with her, with my wife right there. I don't know if that's. That was a cheesy smile. That was meant to look that stupid. My dogs. Dang, too much glare. I don't know. This glare's fucked up. Talk about my sister that passed away. That's her. If you want to see a young pimp back in like 1975, straight pimping right there, reckless eyeballing all over the place. Boom, back when I was out there, young buck, 1987. Shit. Tell me I wasn't a player back in the day. Shit, don't try to keep a player from playing. You can't even see my face. All you see is fro in that one right there. I can't see that. Anyway. Good time. Anyway, all right. So that's all. I think I've been on here enough. Everybody's kind of calmed down on their chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this end. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.